let's move on and let's see what 5 things we did learn from the game. And first one is not so tiny DANSO.
Yeah, I thought another top display from I was about to call him Tiny Dancer. Yeah, from Kevin Dancer. And I think the stats were really encouraging from him yesterday in terms of won 3 of his 5 ground duels, 3 of his 4 aerial duels as well. So really dominant in the air. But I think the big one, 6 clearances on the day, which I think really made sure that we're clearing our lines, which I think some of our other defenders have struggled at times, making sure that we clear our lines when the ball comes in the box. Obviously, he did let himself down a bit with the goal that we conceded, didn't clear his lines on that occasion, but I think really, got over that moment, and he was really a big reason why we went on to win the game really comfortably. His ability to stride into the opposition half as well. You can see in his heat map, I don't have it up, you can see a lot of it is just like in the centre of the park and in areas where you don't expect him to be. So really, really encouraging dancer. It looks like the fans are really taking to him as well with the song they've come up for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He seems like he's becoming a massive fan favourite, and it's just his sheer work rate as well. It's just unbelievable to see, and physical, strong, he's doing all the right things at the moment, so let's hope long may it continue. But number 2 is unplayable Sonny Boy.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Ange Postecoglou coined him in that first half, unplayable. And obviously they couldn't touch him in that first half. Ben Godfrey really couldn't get near him, and he obviously got those 2 assists. He had 3 key passes as well in that first half, and they just couldn't live with his ability to run in behind, get to that byline and cut it back. And what's great is for the first one, he went down to the byline, cut it back on his left foot, and Johnson scored the tap in. On the second one, he went on the inside, passed it to Johnson on his right foot, and Johnson was able to slide it home. So that just goes to show the two-way nature, because he's so two-footed. That's exactly what I think an Ange Postecoglou wants in his wingers, and I think he absolutely showed that in that first half with the way he was able to go both ways. And when he's in that kind of form, that's exactly perfect for how Ange wants their wingers to play, and let's just hope he can carry on this kind of vein of form.
Absolutely. Sonny Boy was electric in that first half. They didn't know how to deal with him. He ripped them to shreds, really, on that left-hand side, and he got 2 assists. He probably could have had a couple more as well if our forward players were more at it. So I love seeing that performance from Sonny. We've seen it a few times in the last couple of weeks against Elfsborg and against, who was the other one?
Leicester, he played well.
Hoffenheim. Played really well, Hoffenheim. So against these kind of teams, he's really coming up trumps for us and showing his quality. Let's hope he can do it on Wednesday night against
Also takes him to 20 goal contributions in all competitions this season, which is, for a player who's reportedly having a bad season, is a pretty good number. And as well, he's now, I think he's on 9 assists, in the Premier League, which
6 goals and 9 assists, yeah.
With 9 assists, which puts him, I think, first of all, that's 15 goal contributions in the league in February. He's probably going to hit 20 goal contributions in the league, which is also good. And I think when it comes to Premier League assists, he's like in the top 5, I think. So, I think he's 1 off 3rd. So, pretty good numbers.
Yeah, the only one that's a bit disappointing is his goal scoring numbers. Being only 6 goals at this stage of the season, you expect Sonny to have a bit more than that.
Yeah, but he can still hit double figures.
Yeah.
12 games to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Number 3 is Johnson again.
Yeah, what's it called? Brennan. Another 2 goals. I think we've also missed Brennan probably more than people give credit for, because in those few months he's been out, no one's really been like getting to that back post like Brennan does and getting in those positions. And I think we saw the difference yesterday, just having someone constantly attacking those spaces, constantly getting in those positions. He didn't have to have the best game overall to make the difference and be effective. And he got 2 goals, 2 obviously Brennan-like finishes. The first one, the tap in, and the second one, a nice finish on his left foot as well. He's becoming a really good finisher in those areas, and that was something that last season he only really scored those tapping kind of goals, but this season he's getting those other kind of finishes on both feet, it seems. He's getting them more regularly. That's now 14 goal contributions in all competitions, 9 goals in the Premier League so far this season as well. So he's 1 off double figures in the Premier League, 17 goal contributions in all competitions for Brennan Johnson. So he's just getting numbers consistently, Brennan. And I think we've missed him more than people give credit for, I would say.
Yeah, I'll probably agree with that. like I said before in the match review, he's elite at just getting into those goal scoring positions, and we saw that again yesterday. Maybe he doesn't impact the game as much as we want, but he makes the biggest impact possible, and that's putting the ball in the back of the net. So credit to Brennan Johnson for the amount of goal contributions he's got this season. I would like it's kind of like the opposite to Sonny, where Sonny's doing unbelievable in terms of his creation and assists, and maybe he could score a few more goals in the Premier League, where Brennan Johnson is doing amazing in his goal scoring, but maybe could do better in his chance creation a bit.
Yeah, he's only got 2 assists, so I think probably I would say he should be getting more than that.
Because he got 10 last season, didn't he?
He got 10, and so I would like him to up that, but maybe he got 10 because he wasn't getting in as many goal scoring positions. But he still got 5 goals. But and it's also just in terms of our goal scoring record overall, we've got 2 players on 20 goal contributions in Decky and Son. We've got Solanke, Brennan, and Maddison all on 17 goal contributions. We could end up with like 5 players with like over 25 goal contributions,
which is crazy,
which is mad.
Yeah. Number 4 is Vicario's impressive record.
Yeah, and I was looking at our defensive record when Vicario's in goal, and actually when you look at his goals conceded per game, it's he's actually 3rd in the league, when only narrowly behind Raya and Alisson in the 14 games he's played. He's played 14 games, conceded 14 goals, Vicario, when he's been in the net, which is not, considering the narratives surrounding Spurs, when you consider when Vicario's been in goal, we've only conceded a goal a game. I think that's quite an impressive record. And he's also 3rd in the league, despite being out for 2 months with goals prevented, which means he does make a lot of saves in those moments. But I mean, it's weird to think about that when Vicario's been in goal, we have the 3rd best defensive record when he's on the pitch,
which shows that if he's third in goals prevented in the league, is that what you said? Which shows that we do get opened up a bit too much in terms of our defensive play. But in terms of Vicario, obviously, him being 3rd, he's got still, I know it's per game, but he still has a much less smaller sample size than the other goalkeepers, doesn't he?
It's 14 games. That's still a significant amount.
Yeah, it is. No doubt about it. But everyone else is at least 7 games more than him? 7, 8 games more than him?
Yeah, but it's per game.
I know it's per game, but it's a smaller sample size, so it's not as many. I know what you're saying, but it's still a smaller sample size.
I mean, naturally, because he's missed 2 months, but still 14 games is a good enough sample size to suggest your record with that team, I would say, in that period.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a credit to Vicario for that, because his shot stopping has saved us a lot this season. But it still shows that we are maybe a bit too open.
No, it doesn't. That's the opposite.
No, it does show we're too often, because he's made the most amount of goal-preventing saves.
Not the most. He's made...
third amount.
He's
been out for 2 months.
He's made the 3rd amount. And first of all, it shows what a good shot stopper he is.
Yeah.
But also, that over 14 games, that's a pretty significant period to only be at 1 goal a game. I think that's pretty... I mean, are you suggesting it's unsustainable?
I don't know if it's unsustainable, but if you're 3rd in goals prevented, or top amount of saves, whatever the stat was, then that shows that we're too open, because he's been only played 14 games out of a 26 game season.
Yeah, and I think it shows he makes good saves. I think that's the main thing, but
it also shows our defence is too open.
Not necessarily, because if you're only because when he was in the period at the beginning of the season, we weren't conceding that many chances and shots. The chances and shots we were conceding were fairly good quality, but we were still very low down. So if you're conceding a low amount of chances and shots, and then you've got a keeper who's got that ability to make that level of save, that's still pretty sustainable.
I hope so, and I think as we progress, hopefully we get better defensively as well, and he won't have to make as many saves. But what you have to say about Vicario, he is a top shot stopper, maybe even the best in the league.
I think he's up there, honestly. I think he might be the best in the one of the best. Yeah, he might be the best in the league shot stopping, because I think Edison, his real talent with his feet, as much as he's a decent shot stopper. Yeah. Alisson I'd put ahead of him. But I think he might be better than Raya. I think he's probably better than Pope. I don't know who else would be better than him.
I think this with Raya. Raya does everything to a very good standard. That's why I think Raya could potentially be just behind Alisson. I think those two are probably the best 2 keepers in the league when you're looking at all round.
Yeah, I'm not talking about all round. I'm just talking about shot stopping. But yeah, I agree with that.
And last but not least, the fifth and final takeaway is Spurs' winning run.
And it's mad, when you put it this way, Tottenham currently are on the longest winning run in the Premier League after that win yesterday. 3 wins in a row, no one in the league.
And is cooking, is
and
what
is
yeah.
back, people. We are there. So it's bad to think about that, where we've won 3 in a row and no one has won more than 2 in a row currently.
Mad.
In the Premier League. So
Well,
we
Everton. Everton drew yesterday.
Yeah. So
What was Everton before that? We were on like 4?
No, because they drew with Liverpool.
Yeah.
So we're on the longest winning run in the league.
Oh, I thought you said unbeaten, but not.
No,
unbeaten
winning run. 3 wins in a row. No one has won more than 3, more than 2. So I Spurs the form team in the league.
Shameless, man. Absolutely shameless. Now, look, you got to give credit where credit's due. 3 wins in a row in the Premier League. Look, you got to caveat it with between the Brentford game and Manchester United game, we did go out of 2 cups. So there is that to say as well. But in terms, if you want to
That's
just
gone now. It's history.
if you want to talk about just Premier League, things are definitely looking a lot better. And I think a lot of people have calmed down, including myself, in terms of the hate, not the hate train, but the annoyed train, pretty much, just being constantly soaking and disgruntled.
Sooking, Ben Min Sook.
Ben Min Sook. But look, bigger test yet to come. I think with Manchester United and Ipswich, you're talking about 2 of the poorer teams in the Premier League at this moment in time. But yeah, I think we'll know if we're in a proper good direction and if we can sustain this kind of period after the next 4 games.
Yeah, let's see. Obviously, big test coming up. Interesting. We played Bournemouth, and looks like Zabriani is going to be missing that, so they might now have less centre backs. Maybe we'll catch them on a good day. We've got City on Wednesday. We have a good record against them, but we've still got they're still in better form than we played them earlier in the season. They're going to want revenge for that game,
Well,
aren't
actually,
they? So,
are they though? Because we actually started that run. That rot when we
that's
played
fair.
Man City.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a good point. They're definitely going to want revenge, that's for sure, though. So, yeah, some tough tests to come, but yeah, let's see if we can carry on this form.
All right, well, big up. That is the 5 things that we did learn from the 4-1 win against Ipswich.